was volunteering at Food Not Bombs, a project that I've been working on for about a year and a half, and we cook up a big meal and we bring it down to the park and we share it with whoever's hungry. And I saw a police officer standing right here in this area. I was filming the officer because he was harassing our meal, and he had detained one of our volunteers under suspicion of spitting, and had a card of park rules in his front pocket and was trying to catch any of the volunteers or people who were partaking in our meal and trying to harass and detain them. I don't think the police particularly enjoy our presence in this park. I think that a lot of the police and probably neighborhood associations have a very NIMBY type attitude toward homelessness in this part of the city. They don't want homeless people to exist in public view. And I think it's absolutely related to why they targeted Food Not Bombs, because it's in the interest in the city to get tourists coming here and making it look pretty instead of addressing the issues of how poverty affects communities in Atlanta. I filmed him for a little while. I decided I wasn't up to filming him and gave the camera to someone else. I made a lot of politically charged statements about how I felt about him being there, which appeared to agitate him. He was asked to leave, and instead of leaving, he went and started stalking our table, right by where the food is. So, at which point I became really angry, and while on the opposite side of the table of the officer, completely, a number of feet away from him, not even facing him, I asked, why are you harassing us? Answer me, and I kind of yelled it. Before I knew it, he ran from the other side of the gazebo, put me in handcuffs, and told me I was under arrest for disorderly conduct. We can't share a meal with people every Sunday without state harassment. Why? 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 Why?
You're under arrest, ma'am.
No.
You're under arrest.
He's trying to arrest Caroline.
You're under arrest. Disorderly conduct in the park.
Were you guilty of that charge?
No, the subsection he charged me with was fighting words, which why are you harassing us? Answer me is not fighting words. Officer Camille arrested me because he didn't like what I had to say politically. It was right around the incident where baby Boo Boo had his face blown off by a SWAT team. I was very agitated. I was telling him exactly what I thought about the police, and he didn't like what I had to say. And because he didn't like what I had to say, he placed me under arrest. And was under the impression, I gather from the big smile he showed up with at court, that he was going to get away with it. I believe that these kinds of targeted arrests happen every day for even more ridiculous reasons than why I was arrested. Personally, ever since I started cop watching, I definitely noticed that police target communities of color, poor communities, and act in ways that I think would really shock and surprise a lot of people who haven't been exposed to police behavior in these communities. I think that the way that the police will treat you if you're apolitical, white, and rich is a completely different world from how you're treated when you just exist as a person of color or as a poor person in the city. The reason that the charges against me were dropped is because we had camera footage showing the incident as it occurred, which was completely and utterly different than what Camille wrote in his official report. He lied in his report. He said that I was trying to invoke people to fight the crowd, which the video clearly shows that I didn't do. He basically lied, and he swaggered into court thinking that he was going to tell the judge his lies, and that he was gonna like get me in more legal trouble. The reason that I was able to get the charges dropped and why I'm now suing the city of Atlanta is because of that footage. And I think that a lot of people face very similar harassment by the APD, and they aren't lucky enough to have cameras backing them up to show that the cops lie and throw people in jail when they get their feelings hurt. And so it was really powerful to me that police are able to basically lock people up for no reason or on whims, and like it can really like mess up somebody's life. You could like lose your job, you can like, you know, have to pay $300 that you weren't anticipated on. In my situation, I consider myself very lucky, but it was really harrowing to me to think about there's a whole lot of other people like who don't have access to the resources where like this could have like seriously like messed up somebody's life just because this cop had a problem with what I had to say.
What kind of advice would you give to other people who want to stand up to the cops or who feel worried about ending up in your situation?
Definitely just like try to create a culture in your community where there's always like when there's cops around there's cameras, so that if you find yourself in a similar situation that I was in, that you can protect yourself in court and hopefully protect yourself during the interaction as well.
I'm guessing that that the cop thought that he was gonna like teach you a lesson about standing up to the cops or speaking your mind. Do you think it worked?
No, I don't think it worked. I'm speaking out on it. I've spoken to the media about it and plan to sue the city of Atlanta and file official complaints against this officer. So it can be very scary to stand up to the cops, but it's also super empowering.